This episode of the New Hampshire Business Show is sponsored by Everlasting Capital. If you're a small business and you need money and a bank won't give it to you, Everlasting Capital is here to help. In as quickly as a couple of days, you can have the funding your business needs for new equipment or anything else you need the capital for. So submit your application today and see how they can help you out. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the New Hampshire Business Show. My name is Chris Pastrana, and today we are here with Trisha Craig of Music Builds Lives. How's it going?
It's great. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Glad to have you. So let's get started. Tell us a little bit about yourself and then what you do.
Well, I'm a classically trained flutist with a master's degree in performance, but I've had an entrepreneurial spirit since I was a teenager, and I owned a brick and mortar music school for 22 years, I think. And during that time, I refined the process that I had learned through doing recruitment for a major conservatory to help the students at my school get into college, either for music or for something else, participating in music. And when I decided to retire from owning the brick and mortar school, I started Music Builds Lives, and that's what I'm doing now.
Okay, perfect. So you used to teach. So what is it that you do now? Because I know I was looking at it a little bit and it's pretty cool. So let's get into what is Music Builds Lives?
Well, yeah, so it's my little passion project, I guess you could say. I help or highly trained teen musicians leverage their musical training for scholarship money and for entrance into college. So it's numerous clients of mine have received full tuition to play music in college, some of them as music majors, but the others as music participants while they were studying something else as a different major. And I've created this system that just sort of evolved as I figured things out over the years. Like I said, I did recruit for a major conservatory years ago, so I understood what went on behind the scenes. I've also taught and worked at several colleges, so really had a good handle on what actually goes on once you submit your college applications. And so I've been able to guide my musical teen clients and their families towards really high success, and it's so fun. They're amazing kids, and their families are incredible. And I think they didn't realize what a big payoff all of their musical training could be when they got to be college age.
Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about how that works because I have an idea. Because we know, say, I was an athlete, right?
Mhm.
So we kind of understand that process. You get into college for athletics. We kind of understand how that works.
Yeah,
But I can see what you're talking about with music because everything, no matter what it was, no matter what it is, gives you a set of skills, and it
yeah,
doesn't have to be directly related to music. Right. So do you want to
exactly.
go a little bit I think that's what you're kind of touching at.
Yeah, that's really cool. I love that you even pulled that out of what I said. So, yeah, there's a couple of different topics in there, and the first one just to address is athletic scholarships, and we're all really familiar with, the football star who gets a full ride to go to college to play football, at the national level. But every school has budgets for the activities that take place at the school. So it might be football, but it also could be, lesser known sports, fencing. I know someone who went to school on a fencing scholarship, or it could be music. So if the school has an orchestra and they don't have any oboe players who are at the right level to play in that orchestra, and your teen has been playing at an all-state level, then they could be a great candidate to get perhaps even a full scholarship to play oboe in that orchestra while they're studying accounting or pre-med or something like that. They don't have to be a music major to get those scholarship monies. And it's the music departments that have them, just like the athletic departments have them at colleges too. So that's the first thing is being able to ferret out these scholarship monies and market yourself to be a candidate for them. The school doesn't know who you are. They don't have the kind of recruitment that some of the big athletic departments have, and
Yeah.
so they have to know who you are. So they might meet you at a summer camp, just or they might meet you by going through my process where I have my students kind of introduce themselves to the departments and get themselves known and get their foot in the door. So the scholarship money, that's the one thing. And then you mentioned all these skills, and if you look on my Facebook page, I went on a skills rant a few weeks ago because everybody's talking about skills that are essential in the future economy. And these skills are skills that every single music student has, working as a team, practicing a skill until they've mastered it. In fact, medical schools are starting to recruit people with high-end musical backgrounds because they're finding that the average student has never mastered a skill. And when it comes to surgery and other medical procedures, you have to know not only how to practice that skill until you can do it, but then practice it to maintain it, which is quite a feat. And if you've been playing the piano since you were 6, then you have that skill. And so I help my clients learn how to take all of the skills that they have and turn it into real life skills and be able to talk about it that way when they're applying to schools and interviewing. One of my clients even got into military academy using all of this information.
That's awesome. And like you were saying, so just what I like about that is you're right. There's a difference between doing something and just kind of being okay at it and practicing a skill until it's perfect. Because when you mess up in music, you can tell it's not right. It's very easy to tell, oh, I did that wrong, right? And so you have to practice and practice and practice to make sure you can do it properly, and then to do a whole song or a whole set or whatever, and it takes a lot of work and a lot of diligence that a lot of people don't have. So that's a huge skill.
And my clients and other just really great music students, they learn this by working one-on-one with a private instructor for most of their growing years. So I still do teach flute. I teach part-time, and my flute students meet with me every single week, one-on-one, where I point out everything they're doing wrong, kind of, and show them how to advance and how to work on things. So this practice of practicing and learning is really ingrained in them. They really know how to do that. And there's so many other skills too. Maintaining your equipment. If you play any physical instrument, including voice, if you don't maintain your instrument, then you can't play. You can't perform. So even if you want to work in a lab somewhere or in a recording studio or something, these kids can talk about how they understand how important it is to maintain the equipment and to learn how to handle it properly, and the proper care and maintenance is already ingrained in them. They understand that, so they don't blow it off. They take it seriously. I mean, even if they're in a deli working with the meat cutters and stuff like that. I know someone who owns a farm, and she was saying that she loves to hire music students because they take instruction, they work hard, they learn well, they are good at interpersonal communications and teamwork. It's the amount of skills that music students learn through their training is unbelievable. And as I pointed out to my clients, like I said, they and their parents are blown away, and it helps them with confidence and interviews as well.
It's because like you said, sometimes people don't understand the other skills, and what do you call them, soft skills or whatever, that come outside of what you're actually doing. So I can tell right now, I used to dance. So getting up on stage and performing is very different than working inside of a team, kind of like on a field, So yes, you can get a lot of confidence from sports, but getting the confidence to get up on stage and solo is something completely different. And it's a huge benefit, especially if the further you go in your career.
Right. Yeah. Imagine being a bank executive that has to give a speech to the whole bank, all of the divisions or something. Yeah. And if they've never done that before, if they've never walked on stage, then that can be, I can't imagine how you get there. But if you've been playing the tuba and doing concerts your whole life, then walking on stage might even be totally comfortable for you at that point. So a lot of these skills are so underappreciated while they're learning them. And I was even talking with a client a few months ago, and we go through all the skills they learned. So they list things like chromatic scales. They listed in musical terms, and I help them translate it. And he laughingly said, "I know how to tie a bow tie. I don't know if that counts." And I said, it totally counts, because we musicians, orchestral musicians especially, know that we have to wear, if you're a man, you have to wear a tuxedo when you go on stage, and that means proper shoes and proper
Yeah.
hosiery, and so when it comes to working in a kitchen, and they say you have to wear the chef's jacket, you're not going to say, "I'm not wearing that jacket." You'd be, of course I have to wear the right clothes for the setting, right?
Yeah.
And the music students, even in high school, they're the ones who don't mind, they've worn those marching band uniforms or the choir dresses or whatever. They don't mind wearing the ice cream parlor shirt, with the little logo on it and the
Yeah.
little hat or whatever they have to wear. They're like, "Yeah, sure, that's nothing. You should see my wool marching uniform," or something. So it's actually, it puts these music students are in a different category because of their life experience that they've earned, really by working hard.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Mhm.
So let's see. So we know a little bit about what you do. How long have you been doing this?
Well, so I closed my music school 2 years ago,
Okay. So it's
and
pretty recent.
yeah, and I had been doing this for numerous years prior to that, probably 8 or 10. Just as an aside, in the music school, people could book my time and be in my office, and we would just talk through all the stuff. And so over that decade or so, I really refined my procedures and how I work with the families. And then after I retired from the music school, I wasn't sure what I was going to do next, and people just kept calling me for help with this thing that I've done before. And so I was like, maybe this is a business. And so not long after, I decided to just turn it into a real thing. And I've had clients from, all over the country already in just a couple of years, and all different instruments and all different majors, some performance majors, music performance majors that I've helped. And some people who, like I said, a Coast Guard Academy student who isn't playing music at all at the academy, but who used all of her musical skills to really impress. She was this little blonde white girl, and she had to impress these big, scary old dudes that were military dudes. And everywhere she went, they were so impressed because she was able to articulate things that were relating to what she was hoping to do in the Navy ultimately, and relate it to her musical training and her musical experience. And she did really well. So I've been able to help people all over the spectrum.
Pretty good. So I'm curious, does this work more as a nonprofit or is it a function as a normal business? Because when I first think about it, I have to take a step back and I'm like, okay, it's college. So people will pay for college. And now I'm getting to kind of like the black and white of business here, but
Yeah.
so it's just interesting.
Yeah, so it's a business. It's my
Yeah.
privately owned business.
Yeah.
My music school was my own privately owned business as well.
Hmm.
There would be reasons perhaps to have a music school as a nonprofit, but I chose to not, um, not, not, I guess, tax the community, not add to the burden of the community. I felt like I could add to the benefit of the community, and so as a for-profit sole proprietorship, I was able to, donate to causes and
Hmm.
donate my time as I saw fit. And that holds true today through Music Builds Lives, when I can decide what I want to do with
Yeah.
any profits. But it is my own business, and there are a lot of businesses out there now that are helping um, people figure out the college application process. Or I have a colleague that's really fabulous who does essay writing and helps kids who want to go to Ivy League school figure out the whole essay process, which is quite a big deal. And so there's a lot of other businesses that do similar things, but I'm the only one I know who has this little system for music students in particular.
Yeah. What is it they say? The money's in the niches.
I guess so,
Yeah.
yeah. The other thing, we were talking about all these skills. One of the things that's making me crazy, and it's very difficult right now, given, the pandemic that we're dealing
Mhm.
with, and, will these kids be able to still participate in their youth orchestras or their music departments at school come this school year? So they're still doing all kinds of research and studies on the safety and
Yeah.
what can happen. But beyond that, I'm seeing a lot of schools who are choosing to cancel music, like K through 12, cancel it in an effort to start offering classes that will make students more prepared for future economies and future businesses. And it's things like teamwork and being able to think on your feet and presentation. When I see the list of things that schools are trying to teach kids, and so they need the money, so they're going to kill the music program and try and teach the kids, I just want to scream at them, just make everyone be in the music program, because they'll learn all of those skills by studying music all the way through.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I feel like I'm also a little bit of a cheerleader for musical training. And people, when I owned the music school, parents would say to me, um, maybe they don't need to keep taking piano lessons. He's not going to be a professional pianist, so it doesn't matter. And I'd say, no, but all of these skills are so important. And the parents would say, well, you just want me to keep taking lessons at your music school. Well, now I don't own a music school. So when
Yeah.
I tell you to keep taking piano lessons, then I'm just trying to make your world better. And so it's been fun, because I've also been able to go speak to music departments or youth orchestra parents and explain to them the importance and the value that their kids are getting from music. And so I feel like I can make more of an impact on that now as a independent business that's not a
Yeah.
music school anymore.
I
Yeah.
totally understand that. And I've had this conversation before. I had another guest on, this was years ago, and we were talking about music and how, schools try to get rid of it. But this is one of those areas where art is, it's hard, because you can physically see the benefits of something like, say, football or wrestling or sports. You can see the confidence, the kids are in shape, people like it, all that stuff, right? You can see that.
Yeah.
It's a little different with music, but it's all still there if you pay attention to it. It really helps the kids with the side, of the creativity and, just even just stress management. There's something about creating something beautiful from nothing that you don't get in sports typically, that's very, very beneficial to people. And I think that's just something that either we're not addressing very well as a society. Because I'm telling you now, as a 32-year-old adult, I hate that younger me didn't learn how to play the violin or the piano. So that's things on my list right now.
Everyone says that to me, and I wish I could go back and find you then and say, hey, let me guide you to a great teacher. The other thing is that in music, no one sits on the bench ever.
Mhm.
So when you're playing on stage in concert band or choir or orchestra, then that's kind of clear. But if you have a few really lousy players, the band or group can only be as good as they are. So you have to really work that up. But when you get into the musical athletic pursuits, like Winter Percussion Ensemble, which if you haven't seen that, look it up. It's amazing. It's a whole athletic sport, and I used to write drill for one. In marching band, which is one of my passions that I've retired from now, but I used to write drill and teach drill for marching band. If you look up drum corps and things, the fitness level that these people have to have in order to carry that percussion around for a full 12-minute show, running all over the place and playing and having the musical rhythms and math going on in your head, and the expression and the showmanship all at once. It's unbelievable what they pull off. And again, no one sits on the bench in those groups, so everyone has to work together to get us all to a good level.
Yeah.
And they actually did a study on some drum corps musicians, and they hooked them up to all kinds of things, and they had them run their show. I think it was a percussionist, a quads player,
Yeah.
and they tested their heart rate and their heat rate and all that for the whole show. And they found that they worked harder in their competitive show than a professional athlete in any full game.
Very
I
cool.
mean, you can get some high end. I mean, you can even get high end fitness through musical training. One of my clients right now is a trumpet player who was going to be. He got a top spot in the Spartans Drum and Bugle Corps. He did tour with them last summer, and this summer he was all set to be a key player with them. And the drum corps season was canceled by Drum Corps International this year. So he's pretty bummed out, but they have been doing some online stuff, and he's participated in some of their virtual performances. One of them is on the Music Build Live's Facebook page. You can see him at the end. He gets a special feature solo at the end. So even now that they are kind of stuck at home, they're still finding cool things to do to keep their musicianship up. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. This has been great.
Sure.
Give people the place and how they can reach out and get hold of you.
Well, so I'm online, musicbuildslives.com. I'm in New Hampshire, but I have clients all over the country. You can find my Facebook page. I'm pretty active on there, and that's on Facebook, Music Builds Lives. And they could email me, Trisha, with an SH at musicbuildslives.com.
Okay. Again, thank you for joining me. This has been good.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. You're fun. This is awesome.
Thank you. Thank you all for watching. Like I said, if you have children who, again, if you listen to this, if they could benefit from, they want to go to college, they want to figure out how their music skills actually, can benefit them in those situations, then reach out. Want more New Hampshire Business Show? Find us at iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, and www.nhbusinessshow.com.